Welcome to the Campfire Podcast.
All right, we're rolling now.
Just like sitting on the couch talking.
Yeah, that's just
Like every night.
Just take this as you guys with your 4 kids are on the table, and yeah. So where do we start?
Now, though.
Pardon? Well, it's just maybe 200 people might hear this conversation.
Isaiah is kind of like the best version of what I could be of myself that I'll never reach.
Really? Wow. Okay.
I don't know where that came from, but I'm glad he said it. Well, Reilly, today's your day, so you're gonna have to do You're gonna have to do the introduction too. So tell us, who do we have on today?
There's a couple ways this could go, but I think I've chosen the way I want to introduce them.
Okay.
So today we have my dad, Mike, and we have my dad's wife, first wife, only wife. Her name's Renee. I usually call her mom, and the reason why is because she birthed me, so she's my mother.
She did?
Yeah. Okay. So we have them on today, and they don't really know what's going to happen, but we're just going to talk. Like you said in the beginning, we have pretty much every night when me and Feston get home from doing whatever we were doing, they're watching Hallmark, or now it's the Olympics that's taken over their lives. So we just come down.
It's the new idol.
Yeah, we just eat some dinner and talk with them and have some fun. So it'll be good to share that with other people, a little glimpse into the McCook household. I don't know how big the glimpse will be, but it'll definitely be at least some of a glimpse. So,
all right. So to our guests, thank you for joining us. We know this is your first time. Might be nerve-wracking. We don't know. That's up to you guys to decide. But give us a little introduction into your who you guys are. Apart from what Reilly said, we know that he was gonna say that. But who are you guys, and how? Like, what's your story?
We are a married couple.
Okay, that's good. That's a good start. We're hoping you guys are, but you're our first married couple on the podcast. So we wanna.
I thought you had Kirk and Kim.
No, we haven't had them on yet.
My mom's the first woman too to be on the podcast with the microphone.
Yeah.
She's the head mother. That's why.
Yeah. So I think we just want to know from the beginning, what's your guys' life story? How did you guys meet, and what's that like? And then we'll get into other things.
Do you want me to tell or you?
Go ahead.
Okay, we met a long time ago, 1986, at church in a Bible study at Calvary Chapel, Costa Mesa, and there was all ages, high school, college, young adults. So she was in the high school group at
Costa Mesa.
Costa Mesa. So she would have been in the high school category. I would have been in the young adults category.
Okay.
But God brought us together. I still remember when I first saw her and thought, wow.
Do you believe, was that like love at first sight?
Pretty close, yeah.
Oh, pretty close.
I mean, I didn't know her, so how can you love somebody that you don't know? But once I got to know her, we became friends for a while, and then started going over to her house, and then I became good friends with her dad because we were closer in age. No, I really loved her family, and I knew I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her. So
wow.
We got engaged and got married 2 years later, and God has blessed us with 4 kids, 8 grandkids, and yeah, it's been a journey. Right, Renee?
Yep. It's been a good one.
She said it's been a good one.
So did he miss anything? Any details? Because I know like how men tell stories and how women tell stories is like, oh, you missed this little detail, you missed this little detail. Is there anything you want to fill in?
He did pretty good.
So what was your first impression of Dad? Do you remember seeing him for the first time? Or is that just him?
I don't think as much as he remembers seeing me for the first time. But I thought he was handsome.
Ooh.
Should have seen my hair back then. It was
had hair.
handsome. Mm-hmm. I liked, as I got to know Renee, she was godly. She was focused on the Lord, and she was very mature in the Lord for being a young person. And so
Yes.
the Lord brought us together because, I grew up in a different town than she did, and we went a lot of different places, and then we met, and then we started our life together.
So you have your Bible open. So I want to ask, like, what's been the Bible verse that's kept your marriage like going in tough times and like happy times? What's been like a Bible verse or like a Bible story that you guys have like?
There's a theme that I've learned through the years, and it's happening more and more. Die to self. But I heard a pastor say when people get married, they should have 2 funerals and then the wedding. So, do you get it? Both people die.
Oh,
They get married.
I wasn't even close to getting that if you didn't explain it.
You really didn't get it?
I didn't get it at
got
first,
it.
and then you had to explain. I'm like, oh,
Isaiah knows.
Isaiah is kind of smart. He's a nerd in the group.
Yeah.
He's a nerd that talks, and then there's the nerd that doesn't talk, Xander, and then there's me and Reilly. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I have my Bible open to. This isn't like a family verse or anything, but it's a great verse. And I heard something podcast or something the other day about raising kids and families, and this came up. So it's in Psalms 127. Unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who build it. Unless the Lord guards the city, the watchmen stay awake in vain. And then it goes down and it says, behold, children are a heritage from the Lord. The fruit of the womb is a reward. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior, so are the children of one's youth. Happy is the man who has his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with their enemies in the gate. So basically, we just started having kids, and well, she had the kids, and we just tried to focus on the Lord and have a solid foundation on Him. And I heard this lady made an interesting observation of the arrows, children being arrows in your quiver. And I've heard that before, but I had never really heard an explanation. Have any of you guys ever heard an explanation of that?
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's pretty cool. She said arrows are used for war and
To defend.
to defend. And thank you, Renee. That was a good word. And if you have your quiver full of all these little arrows and you're raising them to trust God, you can use them as a defense against the evil one. That's amazing. So you're shooting all your little Christian arrow kids at the devil, saying, "Take that."
Take Reilly, please.
Yeah. So I think that means that as we teach our kids about the Lord and how to follow Him and how to act and react and treat each other, it's defeating the devil, because he's comes into your home and he wants to divide, conquer, cause problems, but you're teaching your kids how to follow the Lord and how to trust in Him, so you're defeating the devil. And that's pretty amazing. Right, Renee?
Pretty good. Yes.
Pretty dang good. So I thought that was a great explanation of that verse and perfect timing for this podcast.
Oh, we love good timings.
I just read that chapter like 2 nights ago or something.
So do you want to give us your thoughts?
No, I'd never heard that about because you always hear the quiver of arrows and describes them as the kids and things like that. And it's a cool phrase, but I never really understood it in the way it was meant. And I think what my dad said too is pretty accurate, because if you come together as a family and you have your parents leading the family and they're raising up the kids to be like them because they are like Christ, then God will use all of you together. you can kind of look at it as like you come together as a shield to shield each other from the enemy, but God has also called us to like go against the enemy, not just stand back, but also to fight against. And just because you're young, like you're a child, doesn't mean that God hasn't given you the strength to fight against evil. So yeah, that was good timing. That
Yeah, that's crazy because it's an offensive weapon. You know, it didn't say, "Oh, you know, children are a shield" or something. It said arrows.
yeah,
I mean,
to shoot the devil.
if hypothetically speaking, if children were shields, which one of your kids would you use as a shield?
Zach's
None
the
of them.
biggest.
Well, I would say Zach because he's the biggest. Mom says none of them, so
He's just faking it.
she's right. Who would you use as a shield, Renee?
None of them. Myself.
Oh.
You're supposed
Wow.
to say
So
the
you're better than
Lord
us?
is my shield and my
Yes.
protector.
That too.
Oh. So, anyways, Renee, what do you think about the family?
Now he's leading it.
Yeah, what do you think about the family you have dealt with, Mike?
I think you said everything
No,
that needs
you
to be
can't say that.
said.
No.
You're sounding more like Isaiah now.
Yeah.
What do I think about family?
Yeah, like the topic of the kids, and just like, do you think as you were teaching them when they were little kids, like you're defeating the devil because you're teaching them to follow the Lord? And
I never thought of it that way. No.
How'd
think-
you view
I
it?
think
Okay,
you did.
okay. So how did you view raising kids then? Like, what would you say like has been your journey raising kids? Because like Mike said, like he looked at it that way, and maybe you had a different look at it, but you're doing it differently. Not doing differently, just doing the same thing, but you're viewing it had a different meaning to it than he did. So do you think that's the case? That you just
No.
like
I think just raising them to know the Lord, like reading and praying with them every night, and starting like when they were tiny, reading the toddler's Bible to them every night, them learning the stories and just getting an idea of who God is and what God can do.
So was Reilly your best student when they were kids? Like out of all your kids, was Reilly your best student?
Student at
Learning the Bible, listening to Bible stories at night. You can say no.
I don't know that anyone was the best because they were all different ages at the
okay.
same time.
Yeah, they were. So you had Zach, Tori, and Quincy,
Yeah.
who are like 2 years apart each or something. And then you have I come in, and I'm just getting the one-on-one homeschool from mommy and daddy of the Bible stories.
Yeah, it was very different. It was like raising an only child, in a sense.
Yeah.
That's why he acts like the only child. So back to the question then. What's been your, like, how has raising kids, like, how has that, like, developed you as a human, and how has that, like, pushed your relationship with God? Like, has that helped you grow closer to God?
Yeah, because like your life could have gone different ways. You could have made different decisions, but God worked it out. And I would say, I think you chose this path for your life, to be a mom, to raise kids, to have a family.
Yeah.
So
How has that, like, developed your relationship with God?
Just trusting him more, trusting in him to keep my kids safe, and trusting that he would help them to make the right decisions and follow the Lord as they got older. And none of them have strayed from the Lord. They've all stayed close to the Lord as far as I know.
As far as you know, man.
Yeah, it's amazing to raise kids. I talk to people and they're like, "Oh, you were raised, you know, your parents taught you about the Lord when you're little." Usually when that happens, they think you're forced to go to church and then you just leave, you know, the faith. But it's great to have all 4 kids walking with the Lord, and, you know, we just do our best to teach them. And I think our home was, we like to joke around a lot and have fun, but we did have discipline, and we had structure. And I think the kids knew, like, me and Renee weren't perfect, you know, and we're just trusting the Lord. I used to tell I think it was Tori, like, when she was a teenager, like, I don't know what I'm doing. We're just, we're doing our best. So give me a break, like there's no rule book here. There's no manual. It says, love
Yeah.
your kids, discipline them, and teach them about the Lord and point them towards the Lord. And discipline isn't always, I'm going to give you a spanking. Discipline is like training, like athletes train and they discipline their body. We train our kids, and each kid is different, and you train them differently. But I think it's such a blessing to watch them grow up and trust God and for themselves. And that's been a highlight. And I think what Renee wanted to say is there's plenty of different phases of raising kids. And there's the toddler, the little tiny, screaming baby all the time. And then
Are you still out of that phase with Reilly? Or are you guys doing that phase with Reilly? The screaming toddler.
Sometimes we're in, sometimes we're out.
sometimes it happens late at night. But,
Okay.
and then there's the little kid stage, then the junior high school, and then they grow up. And now our kids are married and we have grandkids, and it's just amazing to trust the Lord through all those stages. And me and Renee have a little saying when things happen that are out of our control, or it seems, like we're going through a bad time or a rough time. It's like, hey, another chance to trust God. Like you don't have times to trust God if everything's always perfect and awesome, and you're just like, hey, it's great, no need to trust God, everything's going good. And then things happen.
Then your bed gets moved and your whole world is shaken.
Yeah. So
It's put on a bed frame.
Just on a bed frame.
Yeah, Reilly came home today to his room.
Yeah, tell the story.
Oh my.
Well, we're going to have 21 people in our home next week or whenever, couple weeks. People are coming out to visit for Renee's mom's
Memorial.
celebration memorial. So anyhow, we got a lot of people coming, and we're like, where are we going to put everybody? So we had a plan to do it a certain way, but then Quincy came home, and she's kind of a...
So you're attacking your mom. You should be attacking Quincy.
Quincy's kind of
I
a...
You
tried.
should be attacking nobody.
Ooh.
Quincy's a boss.
You should be attacking nobody.
Quincy's a boss, and she likes to figure things out. So she kind of switched stuff up, and they called me at work, Renee and Quincy, and I just say, yeah, whatever you guys want to do. And, not that we don't care about Reilly, but,
Nobody tells me.
Remember that butt?
Yeah.
Not that we don't care about Reilly, but
No, there was a motto that we did have as the kids were growing up, and what was it? You're in charge of nothing.
Yeah.
So don't even,
don't even.
I'm in charge of everything, and you're in charge of nothing. So just, and if mom says it, that's the word, right, Renee?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. But anyways, Reilly came home to his bed being moved, his whole world upside down, the bed put on a bed frame instead of ghetto on the ground.
Did you know it was a different bed?
He thought it was
No.
his bed. I said, that's
It's a
not even
bigger
your
bed.
bed.
It's okay. I'll be fine with it.
It's a brand new bed.
Yeah.
I know.
Thank you.
It's like, why are you
I appreciate
crying, little baby?
So for 4 days, he's going to be out of his room, and we're going to have relatives in it. And that's it. I don't know. Did I miss any details, Renee?
Nope. Sounds good.
Like when you said die to yourself from the beginning, I was thinking of like, oh, this just happened like minutes ago before we started recording this. Someone on here is refusing to die for them to
Somebody needs to
themselves.
have a funeral right now.
He's in the process.
No, he just likes to have a big show, but he died pretty quick.
So what you're saying is he's pretty dramatic. Okay.
If I
yeah,
had
I
any
just-
of my other kids
I
there, I would
joked
have
around.
shot him with the arrows of my other kids.
She'd have grabbed Quincy.
She didn't fit in my bow anymore.
She's a fiery arrow right now.
But we're excited to have you guys on. I'm excited to have you guys on because I've lived in your house for a couple months now.
Yeah.
And it's been fun. It's been nice. And I've been like I remember Reilly was telling me this, like, dude, you've been out of our house, and then my grandpa went to the hospital for a couple weeks. And now my grandma is at the hospital for a couple weeks. So you've been at McCook's when I was like happy. Everybody was happy, and it's like everything is pretty low right now. So it's like, and then so the question would be then, Mike, you guys have talked a lot about trust. Like, what's been like moments in your lives where you have had to like, now we really gotta trust God. I know we say it like we have to trust God, but like at this moment we really have to trust God, and we really have to say, not just like, oh, we're trusting God, but we're really trusting God in these moments.
Go
Mom?
ahead, Renee. Give a couple examples, because I've been talking way too much.
Well, I would say recently, just my mom passing away. And like Mike said, that's a new opportunity to trust the Lord and just to know that He does all things well and that I don't have to fear and that I have that hope to see her once again in heaven. And just having that peace just means everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a time, moving here was a chance to trust the Lord because we had a plan of how everything would be, and nothing was the way it was going to, God always likes to surprise you and just go, hey.
It's like we make our plans, but God directs our steps.
Yeah, and he took care of us, and we trusted him. But I think a key that we, there's a lot of things we don't talk about, but we just do it together. And the disciples asked Jesus, teach us to pray. And the key in that to me is not my will be done. I mean, he says, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. That's the old King James. If I can think in every situation, God, your will be done, I don't have to worry about like what I'm, if I'm moving my hand wrong. No, I'm doing hand motions, and Renee's telling
He's
me like,
pounding on the table.
stop it. I'm like,
You can
preaching
hear
it.
it and then
And they keep those in there so people know what's happening.
But if we can say God's will be done in every situation, good or bad, that makes our life a lot easier, and that means we're trusting Him. So, since we moved over here, things weren't what we thought they were going to be, but God has provided and blessed us with so many things. And we went to Guatemala for a year. I quit my job, and we went down there, and that was the weirdest part, to trust God. Like, oh, I don't have a paycheck coming in every week. How are we going to do this? And God just told us to go, and it was pretty awesome. It was just an obedient trip. Like, people go, oh, would you be a missionary again? And I said, I hope so. I hope I would be obedient if God told me to do something like that again. And then we got back from Guatemala, and we bought this house. And when we were in escrow, I had a heart attack and had a triple bypass. So, we're like, we didn't even know if we were going to get the house because we were in escrow, and God worked it all out. I went back to work after 2 months, and then we just been building this place. We've just been building it up. We got so many places for people to go. We got 20 people coming to visit. It's awesome. So, but then Renee's mom passed. Her dad passed like 20-something years ago. Just have to trust the Lord during that. And just raising kids is like trusting the Lord every day, because, like I said, nobody really knows what they're doing. If they say they are, if they say they do, they don't. Right, Renee?
Oh, so Reilly, did you hear that? I'm gonna bring that up every time you act like you know what you're doing. You don't.
No, about
Your dad said you don't.
raising kids.
Oh, okay. Just raising kids doesn't apply to other.
That doesn't apply to like living with Feston?
No, if you think you know what's going on with Feston, you don't.
You hear that? Okay, good.
Look here.
Look here. You had so many questions lined up.
I do. Thank you for reminding me. So, I've heard you guys talk a lot about trusting God, but the thing I've learned from Feston is it's good to ask why questions, to allow people to put into words their own thoughts, which is a sentence. So, my question would be, why have you guys continued to trust God throughout all this? Everything you've talked about, the highs, the lows. Like Feston's seen us when we're happy. He's seen us going through grief. He's kind of seen all sides of us, I think. So why still continue to follow Christ throughout everything?
Because he continues to be faithful, continues to take care of us.
Dad, same.
Same, Mom. No, there was an old saying, God's past.
Faithfulness demands our present trust.
Yeah, so he's
Teamwork, you see that?
Mm-hmm. Goals.
Mama knows.
Couple goals.
Couple goes to a couple crush right here.
Yeah. So, we were taught as children to trust God, and I think a lot of that is when you have good parents and you can trust them, and then that helps you learn to trust God too, like because your parents were trustworthy, and so yeah, we keep going through it, and we keep trusting God, and our hope is in Jesus and what He's done for us, and we know that we're gonna be in heaven someday and live forever. But He gives us abundant life while we're here because we have peace, no matter what happens, and we can be joyful. And I think a big thing is being thankful. We pray every day, make us thankful for all things, not just thankful for what we think is good. But I would always tell the kids, like, you think you're going through a bad time and you think it's really bad and all that, but if it's making you pray more, read your Bible more, and trust God more, that's a good thing. So
Amen.
switch it up.
Isaiah, Xander, I think people want to know if you guys are still alive on the podcast. So please say something before this just becomes Feston, Reilly, and then the McCooks.
What was that like going to Guatemala? Like, what is the story on that?
Quincy was there for a missionary school. That was like 3 months, and she graduated. So we wanted to go down there and see what it was all about. And then she got stationed in Guatemala. And when it was time for us to leave our visit there, I was like, I don't want to leave, but I didn't tell him. And
I would have made her leave anyway.
well, I had to leave, but I didn't want to. Then you tell, what's the rest?
So I was, there was a leader, Pastor Jim, and his wife Patty, and they were really a real sweet couple, and we got to know them. And I felt like the Lord was saying, go to Guatemala and support them. And I'm like, I didn't tell Renee for a while because, no communication is good communication.
No.
Perfect. It's like perfect communication.
Yeah. So anyways, I told her eventually, and she's like, yeah, I want to go. Like I said, it's weird. Like, I don't know what to do. And, what do you do? Just show up in Guatemala? Hey, can we be missionaries here?
We're here to support you.
Yeah. So we called the guy in charge of whoever goes down there, and I asked him if it was weird that I felt like we should support this Pastor Jim down there. And the guy goes, no, that's not weird. Whatever God's calling you to do. So we went down there, and come to find out, Pastor Jim had cancer, and we had some good time spent with him there for a little while, and then he had to go back to the mainland for treatments and stuff. And so I was sent there, and Renee was sent there to support him and his wife, but we didn't know they would be leaving. So
Because we were there for a year commitment to do whatever the Lord called us to do.
yeah, and it wasn't our plan for them to leave. We thought, we wanted to be there to support them. Like, we thought physically we were going to be there with them. So it was kind of a bummer that they left, but that's how God planned it.
But it gave them a peace of mind that we were there.
Yeah, they felt good about leaving because we were there kind of representing the way their heart was towards the kids. Yeah. So, and then, he ended up passing away, a couple of years later, and went to be with the Lord. And that's part of God's will be done. And we're thankful for that. But we're thankful that we got to be down there and have the opportunity to serve. We basically, Renee worked in the kitchen and did stuff. And I worked around construction around it was like an old mission building. It was 150 years old or something. All plaster walls all falling apart, and it was great. But, yeah, so we just kind of served down there, and a lot of the kids were away from home for the first time in their life. They were like 18, 19, and Renee would be in the kitchen like at 10 o'clock at night making pancakes and stuff.
That's
and
where the pancakes from
all
Reilly
these-
comes from.
yeah.
2 a.m. pancakes.
all
Good.
these kids would start showing up, and it kind of gave them a sense of
home.
home. And, they felt loved, like people cared about them. We're feeding them pancakes.
Hmm.
Kids
So I
love
feel love.
Yeah.
Pancakes.
Not moving your bed, not upgrading your bed.
That's how I feel. Hate bed frames.
Sleeping off the ground.
Oh, Linda, this is your time to ask a question if you have any.
Do you have a story about Reilly?
Oh,
An embarrassing one,
An
maybe.
embarrassing story?
We've got a million. But
I think he was born with sarcasm.
Oh.
I don't remember exactly how old he was, maybe around 3 or 4. And a friend of his sister's was helping him get dressed. And she says, okay. She says, Reilly, how about you put this on? He says, how about not?
yeah.
Which friend is this?
huh?
What's the name? What's the
Quincy's-
friend's name?
Quincy's friend.
No, Tori's friend,
Was
Cheyenne.
it Cheyenne?
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Shout out to Cheyenne if you're listening. So, yeah. I don't know.
Okay, so me and Reilly talk about this sometimes about you guys. Is that your faith is like so simple? It's like distilled, like just like it's just oxygen. It's like all the
Like a
ele-
mustard seed.
Yeah, it's just a
You guys
mustard
are
seed,
moving
just-
mountains.
yeah, it's just like little mustard seed that's moving mountains. So like, what's been the journey to get to that point of like, oh, now it's just like we just know this is what we believe in, and this is our faith, and this is like because I could be wrong, but I don't think you guys started out that way. Just like a little mustard seed.
I think just growing up in a Christian home, watching my parents trust the Lord, has been probably the biggest part for me. And then just knowing that He is good and what He allows is good, even though we might think it's not that great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think same thing. I had good parents that trust the Lord, and they still do. And then as we started our life together, me and Renee, we just, kept it going. And we both agreed on everything as far as the Lord and trusting Him and, finances and just everything that people like to fight about. We're just like, hey, God's going to take care of it. And we didn't. I think because we were like-minded in so many things, and we still are, that God just builds, together we encourage one another. And, there's times I'm weak or she's weak, and it's never the same time. God will always use her to encourage me, or I'll encourage her. So it's teamwork is the dream work, right? Or makes the dream work.
Yeah, teamwork makes the dream work.
That's how it go.
yeah. You had so many questions. Why are you looking at me like that?
What did you guys think? What was your first impression when we said we wanted to start a podcast?
Quincy's walking outside as you asking that question.
I thought
We don't want to hear
I thought
Quincy's
it was super.
Really?
Yeah, I just I'm not into podcasts.
Oh, that's why I thought it was a good idea. I don't care.
I
Mika.
thought you were going to just talk about aliens and spaceships, but you guys are talking about pretty good stuff.
That's what everyone keeps telling us.
I know.
Yeah, I know you guys are surprising them.
Mom, you're the first one to leave a comment on Spotify. So
Quincy, if you're out, I know you're outside. I saw you in that reflection. You can come in if you want. You can come and give us your thoughts.
your 2 cents.
She just gave you the Matumbo.
Did she?
She went like this.
Are you out of questions? I was hoping you'd carry the team for
You're
this.
asking about Mom leaving a
Yeah.
Adelio.
No,
On the
I'm
Delio.
saying we're grateful for that. That she was the first one.
You have a question?
What is like, all those God is like the same, like, for like ever? Like, what is something like an aspect of him that you are seeing of him now that you didn't see like maybe 20 years ago?
Wow, great question.
Dang.
Wow. Think about it, Renee.
Can you say that again?
Deep.
So like,
Bars.
what is the aspect of God that you're like learning or like seeing in him now? Like, although he's the same like for eternity, like what is something he's showing you like now, or like an aspect of him that you're seeing now that you didn't see 20 years ago?
I don't know. It's kind of like life. Everything's always changing. But I think recently being at South Maui Calvary Chapel, Pastor Kirk talks a lot about shepherding, and the Lord is my shepherd, and it's just maybe focusing on that more. Like God leads us beside still waters. He leads us to green pastures. You know, He restores our soul. Just the whole shepherding aspect has become more real as you get older, you know, and trust God more and more, and you see Him as your shepherd leading you, even through hard things.
Yeah. Oh, don't. I think for me, is just knowing that, learning more that He does all things well. You know, whether it's a good, great thing that we want in our life, or it's someone going home to be with the Lord that's been tormented in their mind, and their mind is now free of that. That's like the best thing about my mom going home. Mike had to start it all up with the tears.
I'm a crybaby. It's okay. But yeah, just trusting the Lord. You know, it's simple, and it sounds simple, and it's just a journey. It's not simple, but you know what I mean. It's if you look at God loves you, and He's the creator of the universe, and He created, you know, all good things for you. And why wouldn't you trust Him? What else are you going to trust
Yeah.
in?
Where else do we have to go?
Yeah.
The disciples said.
So I know this is your favorite topic to talk about. What are your thoughts on aliens? I know you guys love to talk about this
I
topic.
still remember that one conversation that we had for so long about aliens.
It's, you know, it's controversial. I don't really want to talk about illegal aliens.
Dad, not the Mexicans, the ones in the sky.
Dustin knows what I think about that. It's demonic, and the devil likes to deceive people, and if he can get their eyes off of anything that has to do with God, and they'll think, oh, well, the aliens are going to bring, you know, like knowledge.
They're going to abduct you and take off your kidneys.
Yeah, they're going to take off my kidneys. Don't do that. That ain't cool. Yeah. But yeah, we did have a good conversation.
Good?
Reilly thought that. No, did you think that it was like heated, and we're like,
It was very heated.
It was fun. I liked it.
Like the way I look at it is like sometimes like this is a fun conversation, and then sometimes it gets like, oh, maybe this like moment I don't want to
getting
comment.
personal.
Yeah, it's getting personal. I'm like,
But I didn't feel any heat. You guys think it's heated, but
maybe you guys don't feel the heat like the four of you, Quincy, Reilly, like.
Did we cause the heat?
no,
Like
we
an
were
ant?
just disagreeing with Reilly and his weird
It's like I think it's like both sides. It's just like you're not ready for this conversation, and then
Yeah.
the other one's like I'm ready for this conversation. It's just like
So
Yeah,
I just kept cutting off Reilly. And then
That's the most frustrating
yeah,
thing.
that when I cut him off.
that's why Reilly hits, but he does it all the time. It's like when you like interrupt him, it's like.
Just like Daddy.
But when he interacts, it's like just fine. You get over it. But when you okay, so back to the McCooks, not Reilly.
Not
Like
the
this-
aliens.
Yeah, the aliens, the Nephilim, I know that stuff. I mean, that episode is coming out, so maybe if you guys listen to it, maybe you might change your mind.
Yeah.
Because Isaiah,
My mom was reading that book by Heiser, the same one I'm reading, Unseen Realms.
She got 2 pages in. She thought it was awesome.
Still
More than
read
2
it.
pages.
She wasn't ready.
I'm not ready. Are you ready, Xander?
For what?
The aliens.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. See, we're not.
Isaiah is excited. Isaiah and Reilly excited.
We want to get abducted.
Yeah.
That ain't cool.
Don't leave me.
I'll come back.
with one
How
kidney.
do you know they'll let you come back?
We'll tell him to bring us back.
Yeah, you could kind of tell them.
What if they take part of your brain?
They have brains
They wouldn't
left?
take my brain.
Maybe Isaiah's brain.
Not mine.
I don't know. I think between me and Reilly, we have probably like 1.5 brain cells.
And the one belongs to Isaiah. And Riley. So if they take Riley's, then he has no friends coming back.
No,
And we don't want that.
That one time Reilly took a IQ test, it was negative.
No.
Mom
That have
just
to do
gave
with
me
aliens.
Mom just gave me a weird look.
Michael, stop it.
Be nice to him.
He's a genius.
Deep sigh.
Uncle Si.
Uncle sigh with the dip sigh. Like the one Jesus does in the Bible. And Jesus had a dip sigh. Just I'm blanking. But okay, so tell us like what's been like favorite things, like what is a favorite quality that you like in Mike? And then what's a favorite quality that Mike you like in Renee? Like that's like was there in the beginning maybe or maybe not, but now it's like, ooh, I really like this about my wife, or I really like this about my husband.
Maybe you could say it about all of us too. if you want.
No, please. This is not about us. Maybe Reilly, but this is about you guys.
I think my favorite quality about him is that he loves the Lord and he can always make me laugh.
Sometimes,
And-
right?
Yeah, in our younger years being together, I would laugh and smile and I would say, but I'm still mad at you. But I think that part's gone away. I don't stay mad
The
as
laughing
long.
and smiling part, or the being
No,
mad?
the being mad part.
That's so nice. Thank you.
Wait,
You're
so
welcome.
so you just said you laugh at all the jokes, right?
Pretty much.
We're gonna keep our eyes on you.
Do you laugh at all of Riley's jokes?
Pretty much. Yeah.
He's a genius.
She thinks he's funny. Yeah, so Renee, of course, I thought she was beautiful. And the fact that she loved the Lord was very important. And she's such a servant. Such a servant. And she's always served me all these years and the kids and just taken care of us. So,
Everyone that comes to this house.
and she makes me feel loved and everybody else. She just has that quality. She's a good mama.
So have you
You're welcome, Renee.
Thanks. He always has to remind me to say thanks.
have you guys traveled like for vacation, just the two of you, and like what's been like your best place you visited that you want to go back to again?
Ooh.
It's not about you,
We
right?
never get to go alone. We always take the kids. No, we used to go alone.
I would say we both want to go back to Guatemala,
Yes,
but
we-
we didn't
yeah.
go there by ourselves.
But we do want to go back there.
By yourselves this time.
Well, it doesn't matter. We like taking kids or whoever
The more the
else wants to
merrier.
go. Yeah. We're weird.
This is where you get the weird thing from?
Yeah.
Everything weird. This is weird, dude.
Are you nervous now?
No, I'm not nervous.
His palms are sweaty though.
Yeah, but I think a highlight for us raising the family was we always went on camp trips surfing, and those are great memories. And we went to Hawaii a few times with them, and just the times together seems like a key to just having a happy family is hanging out together and doing a lot of things. I'd get home from work and we'd just like go do stuff, and I think Renee would always be waiting for me to get home so we could go do some fun stuff. But I think I was thinking too about this. Doesn't have anything to do with us being alone together, but
You heard that, Reilly?
raising kids. I was thinking about. It was cool because a lot of times you hear people say, "Oh my gosh, you have teenagers. That's so awful. Oh, they're gonna drive you crazy." And like, none of our kids drove us crazy as teenagers. It's like we hung out together and did a lot of things together all the time, and so I think we don't know what the key is besides the Lord, keeping our family close, but we spent a lot of time together and did a lot of fun things, and it was like they always enjoyed being with us. We enjoyed being with them, and we never felt like we lost touch with them as teenagers. Like a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't even know my child, and I don't know what they're into, and I don't know how to relate to them." And
I mean, I think
we always stayed close, and probably a lot of it was the time we spent going to the beach together, and all the kids surfed with me. Renee brought all the sandwiches and fed everybody, and we still surf together. I surf with my kids, and Renee makes some food. So that's how we do it.
it's been a tradition.
Yeah, it's been a tradition, and it's kept us close. So
Okay, so as a married couple, I think since this is Reilly's day, and David's mom gave him some advice for when he was looking for a wife. So drop some marriage wisdom, some marriage advice for Reilly, because I think he's hoping to get married soon. There's,
Whoa.
I mean, Aunt Renee, you can drop names if you want.
don't do it, Renee.
Isaiah's gonna bleep it out. They're gonna think you're swearing.
Wow.
Isaiah will take it out, but it'll be fun if you drop the name. We don't mind. But yeah, just
Holy smokes.
give Reilly some advice, like when he's looking for a wife, that girl, the one he's been telling you about. When he's looking for a wife, what should he look for? When he gets married, what's something that would sustain him if he gets into that?
This is Renee's speciality. Go ahead.
Ooh, the mothers.
Not my speciality.
I mean, Proverbs 31 is a mother telling her son, so maybe this is your moment to like Reilly. Like,
Well, this isn't from Proverbs 31. This is from Genesis.
ooh, wow.
Whoa.
Don't get.
God created not Abraham.
Yeah. Woo!
What's
did
his
though.
Adam?
I mean, he did create Abraham
Yes.
too, but
no, he created Adam, and out of Adam, he made the woman. And so God brought Eve to Adam. So wait for the Lord to bring the right one to you.
How do I know?
see,
Oh, you'll know.
That's
You
your dad's
know.
speciality.
I mean, you know, no, you know, you know,
I know or I will know.
you know.
You'll
You will.
know.
Oh. Okay.
So do you know?
I don't know. I think I will though.
And make sure she loves Jesus.
Which one? The Mexican one or like the one up in heaven?
What?
Jesus.
Whatever.
The Mexican Jesus? Jesus
Whoever
or
the Lord-
Jesus?
Make sure she
Praise.
prays to the Holy Santos.
No.
Now, I would say look for a girl who loves the Lord, number one, and is from a good family. And a lot of times, like me and Renee were raised this pretty similar. It makes it a lot easier to get along if you have the same views on everything, right, Renee?
Yes.
As long as she has the same views as me, we're going to get along. It's going to be great. No.
You can ask her if she believes in aliens.
Yeah, we both have the same view on that. We believe, but we don't like them.
Wait, you believe in aliens?
I believe, but I don't like them.
That's a good start. At least you guys believe.
Yeah, so someone that's obviously loves the Lord and is from a good family. That's a very, very much a plus.
So, Aunt Rena, do you think she should think Reilly's funny? She should find him funny, or does that not matter? Like, oh, I think Reilly is funny. Maybe I want to get married to him.
I'll answer that.
Okay, Aunt Renee.
You want her to really think you're funny, because if you get married and she doesn't, then you're just going to be obnoxious and bug her. But if she thinks you're funny, then it's going to last for a long time. But you don't want to get married to somebody who is going to think this guy's
Obnoxious,
sucks.
annoying.
Obnoxious. Right, Renee? What do you
Right.
think?
I agree.
I just think about what she'll think of my family. I feel like my family's kind of wild.
I
A
mean,
little
yeah,
bit
little
what's
bit
the
of
word?
bad language.
not not
None of that stuff.
not PC all the time, politically correct. Just say things that are out of pocket. Even my mom, like sometimes you won't expect it, but
I know.
there's those moments where she just drops something.
Even your
what?
grandma.
And my grandma Janie too.
Just
everybody.
It's just everywhere.
It's in the blood.
You gotta be ready all the time.
I
It's
think
like
that all came from Reilly.
No, it's from those before.
it's now
me.
the
It was
nieces. Just
passed
like
down.
goodness gracious, where are you learning? Oh, Uncle Riley's your uncle. That's why.
But yeah, I've seen. I mean, you've come into the family. Bree's made it in.
You've come into the family. She
Yeah.
brought you into the family.
Yeah, I'm more of a cook than her, though. But it's possible. So that's a good thing.
What's possible?
For me to get married, my dad did it, so I could do it.
We're not saying you're not getting married. Nobody said you're not getting married. We're just saying if your mom knows the name, she might just.
Oh my!
She could say it out loud so we can pray for her at this point.
If we're gonna drop a prayer for Riley's hopeful.
For Riley's crush.
Oh,
If you're out there listening,
crap.
please hit him up. He's waiting for you.
Mike's gonna hear this.
So does he know who it is?
There's could not even be one. This is just could be a fun little made up thing
Yeah.
that we're talking about.
Could be. Or maybe not. We'll never know.
Dustin likes to stir the pot, Renee, don't you
I know.
I love instigating. It's just fun.
Oh.
Do you see he's getting sweaty?
Oh, I'm trying to hide that.
So, advice to people like now, people that are raising kids now, because I think you guys would know, I guess, a little different than you guys when you guys were raising your babies. Like now, it's like everything on TV, like the music, everything being put out, like advice that other people give to other parents, like the advice that people are getting online. Like, what do I do if my kid is doing this, or what would be your advice to people that are listening to this, that are parents, that like, well, what do I do? Because I think you guys have raised some great kids.
I think
There's one exemption, but
I think being
even
consistent is
met.
what we would both say.
Never mind. Go ahead.
were you gonna say
I'm
that in mid Tory?
I'm gonna cut myself off right there
Yeah, I haven't met
for the
Tori.
sake
I'll
of
meet
the
her.
family.
Yeah, I would say, like when our kids were young, we didn't have cable TV. We just had videos, so we controlled what they saw. And I know it's different now with phones, but I think as parents, you got to be in control of everything about your kid. And people go, that's so controlling and weird. But it's like, we're the ones that are keeping our kids safe, and we're the ones God gave these kids to.
And we're accountable to
And
God
we're
for that.
accountable to God. And we used to listen to, when our kids were little, we would go to church with my parents, and they lived in a different city. And there was an older couple that taught kind of like a family parenting class. And there were just good advice on different things that we would use. So I think the main thing is your kids got to know that you love them and you're in charge. You know, the kids are not in charge. And if you let them be in charge, they're going to ruin their life. So,
And yours.
and you're, yeah. So you try to stay in control as much as you can, and obviously trust the Lord. And in control means teaching them all the biblical values and things about the Lord, and to trust the Lord, and keeping them away from evil as much as you can. And our kids didn't. Even as they got older, they didn't spend a lot of time away from us with other kids to where they'd be influenced in negative ways. And if there was anybody that was negative, then
Punch him.
we'd cut them off. That's it. No,
Kick him in the
like,
nuts.
No, we wouldn't do that. But we pretty much were aware of what was going on, and we didn't just let them go off and do whatever they wanted. And they got older, and they made wise decisions, and they kept trusting the Lord. So I know a lot of people think you got to give the kids all this freedom and all this stuff. You also need to know that, like, freedom isn't
A good thing all the time.
yeah, and it's not, what do they call it? Like all these entitled kids that are, I deserve this and I deserve that. No, you know what? You deserve to go dump the trash. Okay, that's all you do. All right. So no, you give them freedom as they can handle it to do things, and if they mess up, then you pull the chain back a little bit, and then you give, not that they're on a chain, but you know what I mean, Xander.
On a leash.
On a leash, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
you
think that's-
don't,
More PC.
Yeah.
yeah, more PC.
Yeah. A leash than a chain.
But yeah, I think be a responsible parent that is in charge of your kids, and you have their best interest in mind, and they may cry about things, and you just say, well, that's the way it is. And I think it starts when they're little tiny kids, knowing that your yes means yes and your no means no. We used to joke with our kids, like, well, it wasn't a joke, but me and Renee would work on first time obedience. Like, when I call you, I want you to come. And Reilly used to laugh because I'd teach Sunday school when he was in Sunday school, and I'd tell the kids, I'm not going to count to 50 like your parents. When I say 1, that's when I want it to happen. And he would always laugh and think, like, yeah, remember Leroy? Anyways,
Yeah.
so, yeah, it all goes back to discipline and training your kids, and
And I think also too consistency.
consistency.
Consistency and loving them all the time, taking them to church, discipline, like consistent and all that stuff.
And the consistency is they know when you say something, this is what's going to happen, like good or bad. So
Do you have a question?
So is it in that order? Like church and then discipline right after church?
it's no special order. It's it's all
At church.
same.
I'll pinch you.
But some people, sometimes we think we're kind of strict with our kids, but we were also fun. Well, like I'd take the kids into the bathroom to get a spanking, and once I swatted Zach, and he was like jumping up and down, and my second daughter, or my number 1 daughter, Tori, was laughing. I said, "Good thing you're laughing. Now you're getting 3 instead of 1." And then we were all laughing because that was funny. And then
I don't know. That was always weird, like getting a spanking and then you come out and you're kind of laughing about it. It was oddly,
Satisfying.
yeah, oddly satisfying.
they always say this is going to hurt me more than it hurt you. I always thought it was funny. This is going to be more fun for me than more fun for you.
For you.
So for the past few months, you've been having Fess and live in your house.
Oh my.
There we go.
He's another child, yes.
How's that been?
He's quiet and he's well behaved. So
Really? Whoa.
He's very helpful.
he's
that.
been helpful, and it's been cool to see Feston warm up to the family, and he's just like one of the family now. So
I'm part of the fam.
he's
part of the gang,
family.
dude.
Yeah.
Gang, gang.
Gang, dude.
As long as he stays well behaved, he'll be okay.
We're almost there.
His chain's getting a little bit looser day
Yeah.
by day.
I give him a little more slack as the time goes on.
Any words of encouragement?
To anybody?
No, I think I'll ask you and Renee any words of encouragement, because I think I've seen you have been strong, like from losing your mom, and you've been at peace with that. Like I know I trust God, and you've been strong. And I think Mike calls you the rock. Like you've been strong, and like I've seen your faith, like I think, grow in that. So like, any words of encouragement to someone out there who is going through something that you could have gone through, that like that.
I think I would say just keep your eyes on the Lord, keep trusting in Him. Remind yourself that He does all things well. Nothing is a mistake that He does. He doesn't do anything wrong. His will is perfect. Stay in the Word. Stay going to church. Be consistent with your relationship with the Lord, and He can bring you through anything if you just trust and know that He can do that for you.
All right, so Uncle Mike, that was a different question. I have a different question for you. It's like, how do you support?
Oh no.
How do you support someone that's going through that? Because that was like a little, not just like a little person, but it was like personal, and you just had to like be there for her. How do you support someone who's grieving and who's going through those things?
Just supporting her and just doing whatever she needs and being there for her. And like Zach said when he showed.
When he what?
Excuse me. He showed up and he's found out Grandma had cancer, and he's like, I have no words. And sometimes we don't have words, but we can be there.
I think just being there. And he was faithful when I was in the hospice. They let me stay with her. And he was faithful to bring me breakfast and coffee every morning and to come back in the afternoon. And it was just seemed like a peaceful, sweet time, even though she was going to be with the Lord soon and not be here anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, just being there, not necessarily saying anything, but just being there. Like when Zach said, I don't have the words, and it's like, it's okay. You don't need to have any words. Just being here is a support.
All right, go ahead.
It was about, it's probably only a couple days after Grandma had passed, and I went to Costco with my parents. We need to get some groceries. We need to get some things for the house. And we kind of all split up, and I didn't know where my mom was. And
Were you like that lost kid in Costco looking for my mom?
I was like a scared little 5-year-old. I knew it was a big boy.
You're panicking, though.
That I could find her. I had her on speed dial if I needed, if I got nervous. But I see her, and she's sitting on one of those couches with this lady, and this lady is like all sad. She can't talk, things like that. And somehow my mom just started talking to her. Maybe, what did you say? You just went up and asked her if she was okay?
Some other lady was sitting there talking to her.
Okay.
And I was observing that. The other lady left, and I said, are you okay? And she says, yeah, I'm okay. And then she says, no, I'm really not okay. And I'm like, what's wrong? And she said, well, I have health issues, and this is my first time back to Costco. I feel like I can't even shop, and my husband recently passed away. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. And then I said, yeah, my mom just passed away a few days ago. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry. And like immediately just gave me a hug. And we kind of shared tears together about our loved ones and just encouraged her.
So me and my dad are like pretty similar in a lot of areas. And one thing that we really love about my mom is how she is so compassionate towards people. And that could bring it out in us towards people too. And so it's really encouraging to see that in my parents' relationship, that they, even since they're just so old, that they continue.
Oh my!
That they so continue to help each other grow every day too. And they grow together closer as a couple, and then they also can lead each other towards Christ. And so, like you said, we call my mom the rock of our family, and everything that she's gone through, she's so strong. And my dad too, like supporting her through that. I want to know how to really go through something like this if my parents weren't there for me. So like, that's something recent, that's something fresh, and that's what I hope people are encouraged by, that there is hope in Christ, no matter if you feel like you have a simple faith or you have all these questions, but God can meet you where you're at.
Amen, brother. Brother, son.
This has been fun. Any closing thoughts from the McCooks?
Yeah.
We know Reilly has a few, but this is your moment.
Yeah, it's been fun. That's my closing thought.
Oh, what about you? How are you feeling now after we've recorded for
'Cause
almost an hour?
You were nervous.
I was very nervous because they were teasing me. I thought they were going to tease me on this. But
No.
They were good boys.
We were all nice.
Riley and Feston were good boys.
I wasn't even teasing you that much. I was just laughing.
Well, I guess Mike was good.
That's still
He
being
was
bad.
a good boy.
She was scared last night. She was ready to walk off, and we hadn't even started.
I know. When Ryan was going off about the bed, I was like, please just don't ruin our guest here. But
You have to live with these guys.
I know. I'm like, oh, please, just don't ruin it. We need her to come on the podcast. But it's been fun having you guys. Riley talked about this moment for a while. And it's been great that you guys are here and we recorded this. I think this is...
Episode 11.
So episode 11 comes out in 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that, yeah.
Wow, episode 11, the perfection.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you for dropping some wisdom on us. We hope that people that listen to this episode are encouraged, and we hope that to just grow closer to God with this one. So thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Renee's pleasure. Everybody's pleasure.
You
All
at
right.
Chick-fil-A?
Isaiah's pleasure.
All right.
Not anymore.
Now he's a roofer. He's roofing people like Riley. All right. Thank you very much. We're out. Out and out.